The man casually threw a few copper coins into the air. The girl immediately flew up upon seeing this. Before the coins could even fall, she swiftly swung her sword. Each coin was strung together in midair. The crowd erupted in applause at her skill. However, at that moment, it provoked the displeasure of the young prince upstairs. He immediately leaped down from the upper floor, storming up to the girl in anger. He yelled, demanding to compete with her. Seeing his rude behavior, the girl drew her sword without a word and rushed at him. She only intended to teach him a lesson, so she didn't use all of her power, but she didn't expect. This made the young prince think she had no strength, so he harbored ill intentions and tried to take advantage of her. This sparked a fire of fury in the girl. She quickly drew her sword and instantly struck at the young prince's arm. The man tried to stop her, but it was too late. In the next second, she had wounded the young prince's arm. It all happened too quickly, leaving the man standing nearby in shock. He quickly stepped forward to apologize to the young prince, but the young prince ignored his apology and decided to take out his anger on him. He called for his men to deal with the man, but as he turned to leave, he suddenly realized the man before him was no ordinary person. It turned out the man was the top martial artist from the Central Plains, but he had been framed by the prince's scheme. Not only was his pregnant wife stolen from him, but assassins were sent to force him into a corner. Desperate, the man jumped off a cliff and drifted in the river for 3 days and nights before being rescued by a wandering girl. 18 years passed, and the man, with his adopted daughter, traveled around performing until they arrived in the capital. His only goal was to find his long-lost wife. The only clue was the jade pendant in his hand. Just earlier, when he was fighting the young prince, he noticed the young prince also wore a jade pendant, engraved with his wife's name. This discovery caused the man to tremble. He wanted to immediately ask about the origin of the pendant, but the young prince, in a fit of rage, grabbed his adopted daughter by the neck, threatening the man to hand over the pendant, or he would kill the girl right away. At that critical moment, a carriage suddenly appeared. Upon hearing the sounds from inside the carriage, the man was shaken. He suddenly realized that the woman in the carriage might be his long-sought wife. However, the man did not rush to reveal himself. He quietly swapped the jade pendant and returned it to the young prince. When the young prince and his mother got into the carriage to return to the palace, his mother inadvertently saw the swapped pendant. At that moment, she realized that this pendant belonged to her late husband. She immediately turned around to search for the man, but the father and son were already trapped in the dungeon by the young prince's men. The man intended to gradually uncover the situation, but unexpectedly, the young prince was quicker than him. As the man and his adopted daughter discussed how to reunite with his wife and children, the young prince entered the room. He immediately asked the man if he knew his mother. The man, hearing this, quickly inquired. The young prince told him his mother's name. After confirming, the man couldn't help but say that he was the young prince's father. But upon hearing this, the young prince didn't believe him and assumed the man had ulterior motives. He ordered his men to tie the man up and beat him because he didn't want to lose his current power and position. But the man, wanting to get to the truth, was unwilling to resist, no matter how skilled he was. Luckily, the wife learned from the guards that her husband was imprisoned by their son and rushed to find him. Just as the young prince was about to strike the man with a large blade,